everybody. This is Shikha Dhillon from National School Awards, and we welcome you all at the Top 50 Educators series, where we will be interviewing the top 50 educators of India from various states and get to know their personal and professional journeys. So, here with us today is our esteemed guest, Ms. Vijay Lakshmi Kumar. Ms. Vijay Lakshmi is a principal in the Asian International School in West Bengal region. Ma'am is having more than 20 years of experience in the education sector. She got, as far as the international experience is concerned, ma'am got her school accredited from BCL under her regime and conducted international webinars for school students. Ma'am is in her 40s now and still working relentlessly in the education field with the same passion and inspiration. She is being working as a principal from 3.5 years for now, and as far as the educational background is concerned, ma'am is having a very vast portfolio of different streams, which is making ma'am a multi-talented personality. She is being a MSc gold medalist. She's also MA in psychology. She's B.Ed with distinction, PG diploma in psychological counseling. And she's also done the PG diploma in educational administration from Symbiosis Pune. She's also being done the diploma in Montessori courses. As far as the accomplishment are concerned, so ma'am is having a lot of recognitions and she has accomplished a lot of things in her whole career span. Ma'am is currently working as a principal in Asian International School since March 2017, taking the institution up with great heights in terms of numbers, academic results, co-curriculars and sports participation in the span of 3 years. She is having a vision to make her school the best in the district. She is being also appointed as the district training coordinator for Howrah by CBSE. She is also being a resource person of CBSE and has been conducting teachers training for almost half a decade now, including CBSE observers for AISSE and AISSCE. She is also a certified city coordinator appointed by National Testing Agency and has been in charge of conducting various professional examinations like UGC entrance, joint entrance, and NEET for more than 3 years now in Howrah district. She's also been, prior joining the Asian International Institute School, which is her current institute. She is working here. She has worked with esteemed organizations like Institute of Engineering and Management, Ashok Hall Group of Schools, and Teachers Training Institute in various admin capacities in her career span for more than half a decade. She was also one of the 400 delegates selected from all over country for the India International Science Festival in 2019. She has been bestowed with the recognitions of her own efforts in the field of academics. University of Engineering and Management conferred upon her the award for Best Teacher, while IIHM recognizes her efforts as principal. Very recently, she has been conferred upon with the prestigious award of SOF, Best District Principal in 2019 to 2020, wherein SOF stands for the Science Olympiad Foundation. She envisioned serving the society through Asian International School and is committed to ensure that the organization emerge as the best school in her own region. She has also improvised on the student participation in sports, academics, and other co-curricular activities like SOF, BBM, ISRO, and other international competitions, where she has a provided the exposure of all the students successfully achieved international ranks. So this shows ma'am's whole compassion and her passion in the education sector. As far as the accolades and awards she has received, so there is a huge list. Few of it I will be explaining over here. Ma'am has ranked under the under the guidance of ma'am, her school has ranked number one by Times of India as the best emerging school in 2014 and 15. She has also lead her institute as the Certificate of Excellence by Sanmarg for contribution in the field of education in 2015. Her school has ranked number one by School Survey of the year 2016 to 17 as Best Emerging School by EI Summit. She has also got the Certificate of Excellence in Eco-Friendly Initiative by the Telegraph School Awards 2017 to 18. Under her leadership, her school has improvised a lot and got a lot of awards in the school skating. Her school has got the British Council International School Awards 2018 to 2021. She has also got the Gurukul Award 2018 for the most promising school for her school. She has also encouraged the National School Awards in 2018 for the most prominent school in the sports and the Outstanding Infrastructure Award. She has also got for her school the Times ranking 10th in Kolkata schools and first in Howrah schools. She has also been a winner of Times EduShine 2019. She has also got the Sankalp Award for the best international school. And under her leadership, a lot of other awards and recognitions she got for her school. And in the state, she is being one of the best schools with the name of Asian International School. So we heartily welcome you at this platform, ma'am, today. Very welcome.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
As I have said that a lot has been here to say in favor of you, as you are such a dedicated and motivated personality. So let's start with a little journey of the background. As you have started your career a lot years ago, ma'am, we wanted to know, as you know, you are a principal now, you have the different qualification and you have also worked in various admin positions in your career. So we wanted to know how this education career have started from the starting of your journey, and as now you are a great motivator and great mentor for all of the teachers and in a very prestigious position in the school. So how this journey so far?
The story of my life began, of course, 44 years back. But as far as my career is concerned, I started my career as an environmentalist because I had a passion and my subject expertise also laid in the same subject, in the field of environment. So I started my journey from there, post which I have served various institutions in various admin capacities. And some of them have also been closely associated with the liaisoning between one school and the other agencies. Some of them have my role in the capacity of academic trainer, academic orienter, because a headmistress or a vice principal or a principal is the first and foremost role that we are supposed to play is of looking into the pedagogy of an institution. So that is how I've started my journey. And the first prominent platform that I got to work and serve the society was a show called Group of Schools, wherein I worked for about 5 years, little more than 5 years rather, as headmistress of one of the units. So that gave me an opportunity to implement the system of worksheets, which was not so common and popular, at least in Eastern India. So those were the days. This was somewhere around 2004 and 2005, when the entire books and copies were replaced with the system of worksheets, so that the bag load on children could be reduced, in fact could be taken away from them. So those days we had visioned it and we implemented it with the support of a huge team. Parents were also very supportive and children were equally enthusiastic about this entire system. So I remember they would only, of course it was a shock in the beginning when the parents were oriented about it. So the children were supposed to bring only a tiffin box, the diary, the school diary, and a pencil box. That's it. So, we were flooded with questions coming from parents. Of course, those days there was no concept of WhatsApp group. There was, the concept of writing mail to school was just emerging. So we would get those hard copy letters, wherein a parent, so that personal touch was also there. So we were flooded with letters. So one by one, the entire team of that school, there was a task force that was created. We counseled the parents and we explained them that, see, this is the difference. This is the beauty. The fear factor of coming to school would be wiped off from the minds of the wards, the children, beautiful children coming to our school. I'm referring to the old school that I worked with, and gradually parents were convinced, because children, instead of a child getting up in the morning and thinking of packing his bag, missing upon a science book or an English book, so there is always a fear psychosis that works in a child's mind. It could be a very small thing for us, we the adults, but for a child, he or she gets very, very frightened when there is some copy, even a pencil is missing from his bag. The confidence factor goes down. So gradually, when children started loving to come to school, we could see the rewards coming of the effort that we had put in for about 6 to 7 months. There was a huge team that had worked on the project, and with God's grace, with parents' support, with teachers' initiative, and with children's engrossment, we could succeed in that project. So that is where I started my journey, and gradually I served as teacher trainer. I am still serving as CBSE resource person, as certified city coordinator, and of course the prime servant of Asian International School.
That is really great, ma'am. It is always a pleasure talking to you, as such a inspirational personality you are, and the zeal and the passion which you take in all the works, like in the education, in implementing the technological things. It is really commendable. So that is really great to know your journey so far. As you know, you have done a lot of things in your career span. I am sure that you got few challenges as well in terms of applicating those new strategies, or in terms of handling the whole staff, the management, the kids as well, as you have implemented a lot of new techniques in the study. So I wanted to know how many challenges you have faced in your career span while changing the scenarios from one position to another position, and how you have tackled.
The first and biggest challenge those days, when I started my journey as a very young academic administrator, was my age. So, because people took time to accept a very young headmistress, they took time to accept the leadership, they took time to believe in the reinventing choices that were made by me as a leader. Right, so that was the first challenge, and I've seen a day wherein I could see the discomfort in my teammate. But then again, when you implement, sometimes it's like giving a pill to a kid who doesn't want to take a pill, but as a caregiver that this pill is going to do good to the child. So I did that. So sometimes I had to have carrot, sometimes I had to have a softer stick in my hand. So respecting their individuality, I have always believed in connecting with people and working, and that bottom up approach has always been maintained by me. So whenever I would think of something new, I would place it in a way that it would look like it happens even now, that it looks like their idea, because I never say that do it. I always say let's do it. What do you think should be done? What is your opinion on this? So there are times when my ideas are taken or their ideas are respected, and there are times when we mutually have to come to a common place. When I say there, I'm referring to my team. So this was one big challenge. The second big challenge was handling motherhood, taking care of my own children, being a young academic administrator, and taking care of children who are not my biological children, but morally, those who come to my school, my institution, they become my responsibility. right? So these two challenges, and of course the society, way back in 2003 2004 when I started my career with, things were little different than what they are today. Society then, Indian society, was not so much prepared with the concept of working women. It is a very very easy task for the the generation, the current generation of women, to place it before their family members. Those days we were somewhere, that hint was there that you have to give priority to your own family, quote unquote. And to make them understand that when I am making a choice of career for myself, I do not intend to ignore my family. That is also my priority, and this is also an equal priority for me. So these few challenges were, they took away little energy of mine, emotional, physical, and even otherwise. But as it happens with with the passing days and passing times, I would say that the way every individual becomes more mature to handle the challenges that come their way, I also did the same. And I don't know whether it is a success story today or not, but it is a story. I'm happy that I could write a story for myself and for the woman who struggle between home and office.
Absolutely, absolutely right, ma'am. And really, you are an inspiration to all the fellow women who are still struggling with maintaining the balance between, between the household and their professional career. So it is still there in our Indian society that if woman would be an astronaut, but she has to take care of family responsibilities. So
Yes.
that is there from the past, and our society is like that only. But under your supervision, I am sure that you have created such ladies, such women, that who are
Yes.
very much capable to handle all the responsibilities all in one go. So that is really great.
Absolutely. See, I have had teachers wherein, maybe after marriage or after being blessed with a baby, they wanted to leave their career. So I have also made accommodations for them by granting them little
Don't
more
worry.
number of leaves and making some adjustments for them. And they have also felt encouraged to work with me. And finally, I could counsel them to an extent that they take a decision of not leaving their career choice. So that is where the probably I feel that my success lies, wherein I could not only turn around my life but the lives of a few women around me. So
that is really an inspiration for all the people who are working under you. And I hope that every girl child who is studying under your leadership and under your institute, so she will also get the same qualities as you. And ma'am, I just wanted to know personally, what is the reason of that inspiration, that motivation? Self motivation is the key for everything. So, what is the reason behind it? Is it a family values only, or is it your own passion that that burns up all the day to make the light more brighter?
it is it is a combination of the two. It is a combination of the two. I remember my father always would tell me stories. He would make sure that when he would drive the car, I would sit next to him. And he would always teach me that this is how the car is driven. And when he would talk about my future, he had very high and heavy dreams for me. This is definitely fueled and inspired by my family, both my parents. Secondly, the passion. Thirdly, I feel that it's one life that we get, right? So in this one life, one has to leave at least some bit of example, which beholds stories of motivation and inspiration for, if two women also or two individuals also, your life is done. You have met the purpose of your life. This is what I feel, and probably that is how I draw my inspiration from.
And this is exactly what a vision of a leader should be, to make the examples, to make a path which other people can follow. A lot of people do have this kind of mindset, but it somewhere and how they are just putting backward themselves backward. So this is really a challenging thing. But few, but yes, few of the people who are the good leaders, they are overcoming it and setting the examples. So that is really great to know. Moving forward, ma'am, as we have learned about your career span, your challenges as you have made, and yes, I just wanted to tell one thing, that being a psychologist, you might be knowing that you have been taken, not taken the decision, but the decision of some others. You just need to implement that. That factor, I think, helps you the best. Being
Yes.
understanding the psychology of a person, of the parents, even of the teachers and kids. So that is a prime factor, I believe, one of the prime factors.
Absolutely so, because when I took up psychology, basically I'm an MSc, and then going forward, when I chose to do an MA in psychology, I realized, and also a PG diploma, I realized that, though I might have taken it for the sake of getting a degree and learning something new, but then it has really helped me in my career also. And while dealing with relationships, even with your own child, your own family members, husband, and people around you, with parents, with children, parents, meaning I'm talking about school parents, children, teachers. It's always a bond, and it's a game of mind. If you can understand the mind, you can understand the person. So when people out of distress, when they say that, nobody understands me, it's not about the individual per se, it is about the mind and the thought process.
Absolutely, ma'am. Because a lot of problems are there in terms of kids to the parents, kids to the teachers, and parents to the kids as well. This is just a matter of understanding. I also
Right,
believe this.
right,
So
right.
that is the one talent that every person should have in the education sector or in their own lives as well. So moving forward, ma'am, as the COVID has hit the country in 2020. This is one of my favorite questions. So,
Mhm.
as you have said that you were already on the worksheet mode and you have advanced the teaching by one step before the COVID. But as it has hit the country in 2020, a lot of educational institutes and complete education sector, you can say, has been impacted, and the traditional learning or traditional education has been shifted completely to the e-learning education. So how have you tackled them once in 2020? Because right now we are in middle, we know a lot, but in 2020 we could not be knowing the platforms, the e-learning processes and all. So how you have tackled those challenges in 2020 in terms of teachers, in terms of students, and in terms of even their parents as well?
Right. So, as I said a little while ago, that it is all in the mind. So the first thing, as an educationist or as a leader or as the eldest member, because if you consider a school to be a family, then of course the principal becomes the almost the eldest member after the chairman and the director and the SMC members. So the first and foremost thing I did was to motivate people and to show them a hope. The strategy I adopted with my teachers, that it's nothing big, it's nothing great. You have been into WhatsApp, because a year back, almost a year back or 14 months back, when 16th of March, I remember, was the last working day for my school, and we had broken up for about 20 days without knowing at all that this is going to be a neo normal now, and we are not returning back to school with children in near future, right? So the first thing that I did was to motivate the teachers, that see, the way you have been handling some video calls, this would be an extended video call. So a rigorous amount of training, management has been very, very supportive, and they chose a very beautiful online platform, which was, of course, it threw a lot of expense to the school, but the higher ups did not compromise on the quality, and rigorous trainings were imparted to the teacher. The teachers were broken into small pockets, small teams. There was a team leader, TL, that was appointed, and that is how, even at 12 and 1 in the morning, the teachers have coordinated amongst themselves. and they have coordinated with us also, because it's like, when you play ring a ring of roses, you have to hold each other's hand, and we did the same thing. So it's all about holding hands, and that hand on the shoulder from the principal or the head of a section is very important. Probably I did that. And in these times, I think there are two very important things that we have learned as humans: self-tutoring and self-reliance. Because when you are downloading something, some app on your device sitting at home, there is no physical assistance given to you, right? So you have to self-tutor yourself. One has to self-tutor oneself, rely upon his own wisdom or her own wisdom, and proceed further. And this has been the mantra, I guess, for most of the schools, most of the teachers, and a school like Asian International School, right? And which is why you all have rendered us with the recognition of best e-learning school in the eastern zone. So it has been a teamwork. It is the teachers, the coordinators. I have two beautiful, in fact one of them is very, very prominent, Miss Anita Shaw. She has contributed hugely. And of course, I must tell you that I have been trained by my daughter. She has been very, very kind enough, because them being very young kids, they pick up things very fast, right? So it has been a collaborative work wherein the the barrier of age has been dissolved, and the approach and the attitude of accepting and adapting any new change, not challenge. A challenge is not a challenge, it's rather a change, right? So we have to have an open mind, and with this open mind, we have had people who were succumbing to the new changes, but then we ensured that the strong links of the team, AIS team, they hold upon the weak links, and we all rise together. And this is how we have risen.
Wow, it is such a inspirational story. If I must say it is a story, but it is a reality. But it is really inspirational because teachers and the students, these two people are the people who are making the reputation of a school. So to manage them, and yes, teachers has to have worked a lot in this changing scenarios, as the previous traditional working system was too much different, and now they are just putting more than 100% of themselves while working from home and taking care of their own families as well. They are putting 100% of efforts. Even I have interviewed a lot of principals, and they are saying that they are working like from morning to evening in making the videos and taking the classes and just checking up the works and all. But yes, it is inspiration and motivation that as a leader you have given to them, so that they can hold their hands together and work motivation work relentlessly in the education sector to make at least a little balance. So that is really great. That is really great to know. Ma'am, moving forward, I have one more question. That in this pandemic, as schools are being now closed from more than 1.5 year almost. So, in this point of time, kids could not get the chance to go outside. There is no physical activity, as kids are also being in their comfort zone on 2 or 3 BHK houses with their parents. And also, there is no socialization for the children. Like they are not meeting their friends, their classmates, their teachers even. So there is also emotional unbalancing out there in the kids, especially. We as adults, we know that how to handle our emotions, but as a kid, they don't know how to handle their own emotions, and in turns they are getting depressed, or they are getting like a little anxiety, and they are being frustrating. So how you are handling that mental, emotional, and moral well-being of a child while working and teaching them from the e-learning mode?
That's a wonderful question and very close to my heart. See, there are few things, few strategies, I would say, as a school, as at Asian International School, we have adopted. First of all, handling the anxiety, when you try to learn something or do something for the first time, there is a lot of anxiety in one's mind, right? So you want somebody to, if a number is given to you, you would like to call up at that number and take that assistance. So it's not an assistance, it's rather a moral support that you're seeking for. So the psychology comes in, right? When we give a call to a helpline number, let's say, what is our motive? We are not satisfied merely by writing a mail or merely by sending a WhatsApp or a message, right? We want to call up that person. So in spite of WhatsApp and these things being so popular, you would still find people calling up each other. The reason is that there is a mental satisfaction and there is an emotional support that is being looked for and being rendered from the other side. So as a school, right at the onset of the pandemic last year, our school authorities had created a helpline desk. So there were 4 people of our admin members, and on record, I would like to take their names, if you permit me, because I want them to, if the school has succeeded, it's not me alone, it is them, right? So it's Mr. Arpan Roy, Ms. Pratiksha Dhar, Mr. Rohit, Mr. Prashanjit, Mr. Vinod Shaw, and all of them, they all got together and they were available to the parents at even wee hours. Right, so whenever parents would get stuck, they would give a call to them. So there was a support provided to them. So we arrested the anxiety, or we took care of the anxiety coming from parents in that way. Right. Coming to the children, let me talk about teachers first. For teachers, we are there. Okay. Coming to the children, what we have done is, along with counselor, there is an initiative from our end in the name of counseling cures. Okay, because indeed counseling has the capacity to cure an individual. So again, along with the counselor, there are 4 to 5 people who are more empathetic in compared to the rest of the teachers, and their numbers have been shared with the students, with the parents, and they have been requested, guided, that whenever the child is in distress, give them a call. You can call up at this number. You will not believe, ma'am, the counselor has received phone calls on handling issues between a child and a parent also.
Absolutely right. This, in these times, a lot of parents are also being working as a parent and as a teacher as well. They are working 24/7 now, and in turns it is giving the frustration because they are not able to handle the kids' psychology and their studies and everything in one aspect. So it is clearly different and depressed situation.
So this is how we have handled, and there are a few more things. We have been organizing a lot of activity classes for them. We have been organizing counseling sessions, for example, mindful awareness, something on anger management, something on how would you keep yourself occupied mentally and positively. So on various topics, counseling sessions are being organized for children also, for parents also, and of course for the teachers. So there is again the team that is they have taken it on themselves to ensure that the mental health of children is being at an optimal level, right? So this is an attempt, this is an effort we are making.
That is really great, ma'am, to know that how you have handled such adverse situations, such adversity with all your efforts. And of course, we thank all your staff member, as you have named them, and a lot of teachers as well, along with yours, so that at least some of the people are, as at least the school teachers and principals are working for the welfare for not only the kids, but for the society as their parents as well. Because everybody is not knowing how to handle their anger and how to handle their psychological disturbance which are occurring due to this adverse situation. So it is really great that some of the people are working in the favor of not only kids, but yes, as the parents as well. So,
Thank
moving
you so much.
forward, yes, moving forward, as the COVID had hit the country in 2020, but there was also one thing which has come up in 2020. That is that was the new education policy, the NEP. A lot of conversations has been done in the favor of NEP and in the they a lot of people have criticized it, but I wanted to know your personal views on the NEP and how it will be beneficial for the students, how it will be beneficial for the teachers and the institutes as well.
That is again a question that is very close to my heart, a topic that is very close to my heart. I feel that the revision was much required because for last 33, 35 years, even with an app also you have to update it every 3 months or 6 months, right? It automatically sends you notification and we are supposed to. So the education policy, as far as the education policy is concerned, for last 35 years we did not go for any revision. So this was much required. Okay, not only that, I feel, this is my personal opinion, that it is more practical in approach. It is more liberating for students because the barrier between streams and the restrictions on taking a subject or not taking a subject has been now lifted to a large extent. It involves more of practical learning and not just rote method of learning, wherein a child is just not taught like a parrot, but he is left like, in the open sky, whether he wants to become a vulture, he wants to become a myna, he wants to become a sparrow. It is absolutely his choice. And that is what I think, because until and unless there is a policy which gives you this kind of confidence and this kind of openness, it is difficult to prepare the current generation for the next century. This is what I feel. There are certain things like 10 days of no bag, wherein, child, there are many of us, even if the switch is not working, we have to depend on somebody, right? So you are making a child more independent. When we are teaching them the basics of carpentry, let's say for those 10 days wherein the bags are not to be taken, he is not having to depend on a carpenter only to mend his chair. So it depends on the perception. So if implemented well, if implemented with an open mind, I think this policy should bring in a revolution in our country in terms of education.
That is really great to know, ma'am. As you know, it is beneficial, but how it will get implemented and how the trainings for the teachers would be done, it depends a major role in implementing the NEP in the next few years. But anyhow, if it will be implemented in next like 6, 7, or 8 years, it will change the picture of our education system as a whole. So we
Right.
hope that we will be able to make more intellectually stable and emotionally stable individuals.
If I can add to what I said, see, basically it is talking about the basics of education, which should be known at different, which should be, there is something called learning outcome at different stages, right? So a 4-year or a 5-year-old child should have the foundational literacy, and the numerical literacy has to be there with the child. In middle school, there are some set patterns which one has to acquire and attend. I would rather say that there are many schools like ours who have already started implementing the ethos of new national education policy. I'll give you an example. We offer about 20 subjects at 11 and 12 level. So out of which English is definitely common for all, but there are 2 to 3 subjects which are of course taken by so-called science students. Though CBSE does not have any stream barrier, it never had any stream barrier even before. But there is a wide range of subjects given to the children from where they can make a choice as per their passion, as per their interest, as per their requirement. So schools like ours, who are generally abreast with the developments happening in the world, we try and get, become a part of the change instead of opposing the change. and we have already done that. So I think I see a successful implementation of national education policy in our country.
That is really great to know, ma'am. And it is really would be a change, a drastic change in the education system if it will be implemented as it has been desired. So yes, moving forward, ma'am. Last but not the least, as we do have some time constraints, ma'am, what are your views? I wanted to know your views. As you know, the CBSE have cancelled the examinations of 12th class. Recently, it has been published due to the pandemic. So, ICSEs have also cancelled the same, and state boards are also being in process to cancelling the same. So, what are your personal views on the examinations of 12th class, as it has been a deciding factor for the kids' future?
Let us first of all, there is a very simple proverb that we all have learned when we were in classes, probably 1 or 2: health is wealth, right? So nothing can be more important than the survival and health and well-being of children, and even the teachers, right? So the decision is truly welcoming decision. I personally welcome it. I would not like to get into a debate on this, but I personally feel that at this point of time, sometimes you're not left with many choices, but there is only one decision, either right or left. You have to choose it very, very firmly. So whatever has been decided, it is in the larger good of children, parents and teachers, because when the examinations are conducted, it's not just children. It involves the entire machinery of school, the custodian bank, the parents, the transport, and a lot many domains are there which are involved with an examination, right? So what has been done is definitely a prudent decision. Secondly, as far as class 10 is concerned, was it really a decisive examination or a decisive factor in a child's career? We need to ask this question first. I don't think so, right?
Right.
Of course, it adds. It's the first public examination that a child appears for. So, it somewhere it gives you a reflection. It gives a child a reflection, or his parents or teachers a reflection that yes, he has done well. Secondly, as far as class 12s are concerned, my appeal to them would be to counsel themselves that it is not a loss to them. See, most of these, and the professional colleges or professional universities and professional courses, the admission happens only through entrance examination. If you talk about law, if you talk about engineering, if you talk about medical, if you talk about any other field, anywhere when you want to take and go for a professional career at the undergraduation level, one has to appear for an entrance examination. So that is still there. That has not been done away with, right? At this point of time, as the individuals, we need to safeguard the race first, right? Let us survive, and then we will see what and how things take shape in the months to come. So children need not lose heart. They must talk to their family members, to their teachers, to whomsoever they feel comfortable with. There is nothing to feel bad about it, because this is not a decisive exam. This was not a decisive exam in any which ways. So that is what I would like to say.
Right, ma'am. Life has a lot of things to do once the pandemic will get over, and a lot of options might also have been there before, like after the pandemic have been just completely wiped out. We hope for the best for their careers and future. So, ma'am, last but not the least, it is we want to know if there is any suggestion you want to give to your fellow educators, to the principals, to the teachers, and to the students.
The first, the message would be for my fellow women educators: be a phoenix, and for any profession that a woman is into, be a phoenix, rise from the ashes. There would be ups and downs, and this is for children also. This is true for everybody. There would be, see, the way phoenix rises from ashes, we have to have that much of courage to, even if there is a situation which is equivalent to ash, we have to learn the art, the skill, mental strength to run from it. Okay, so that is one. Second is my appeal to all the educators would be that let us not only focus on the ticks of syllabus checklist. There is education, and educator has to meet larger responsibilities, larger goals. And one such goal, I think, as a society, we have to meet is, working upon the morality index of the entire society. See, during this entire pandemic, on one hand, we have dealt with an unknown demon. That's the virus. On the other hand, we cannot deny this fact that we have dealt with immorality all around. Right? The price hike of those commodities, which probably would have been sold at a more reasonable price, and the prime reason for getting into all this is morality index, which I feel that as human beings we need to work jointly. So the teachers and the parents who are rearing the young minds and leave a very strong impact on the children, who are the roots and the future generations of the human race or of the society, this is one thing that we also need to include in our responsibility roster. Thank you so much. All of you stay safe.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really an insightful session with you, and it is always being a pleasure to talk to such a positive persona like you. And yes, it is completely right that we have to create, as an educator, we have to create the morally sensible people, as it is the most adorable value of humanity. So yes, we need to be a little more human in these tough times, so that we can at least compass all these adverse situations altogether. But thank you so much for coming over here, ma'am, and thank you so much for giving your precious time to us today. We always want to have a great conversations with you in the near future, sir.
Thank you so much. In my concluding statement, I would like to thank the chairman of our Asian International School, Shri S.D. Sharma, the director, Shri Alok Sharma, all my teachers, all my staff members, all my support staff members, because they are always behind the curtain. We fail somewhere to recognize their efforts. The parents, the children, and my family members, most importantly. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.